My projects always take a lot longer than what I think they would take. And once in a while, these projects also start out a new set of more complicated projects. My custom shackle flip on the Tacoma is the can of worms that accomplishes all of that. So let's get this thing started. Now, for those of you guys who are new to this channel, my name is Carl, and this channel is dedicated to all things mods, DIY, and engineering for 2nd and 3rd gen Tacomas. So make sure you smash that like and subscribe button already. Do it now, guys.
Do it. Do it now.
This video is part 7 of the trail damage repair series. And to complicate it even further, this video is also going to be part 1 of the bolt-on extended travel air over leaf rear suspension series. Faux Lars. I don't know what that means, but it can also be an anagram for bare tools, oral sorbet, or loose breast. The last one is probably the most appropriate name for that series because the point of it is really to increase the droop of that rear suspension. Anyways, let me know what you guys think on how I should name that new series. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Hold it! This video will also be a prequel to the custom Tacoma truck bed series, and you'll see why in a bit. Talk about complicated, right? But I'd also tell you that it's my job and sole duty as a mechanical engineer to complicate things as much as possible in order to maximize the cool factor as much as possible. The summaries, as well as the links to the previous videos to the series, will be in the description below. So make sure you guys check those out, or else. In the last video, I briefed you guys on how I debriefed my truck. Now with the back of my truck completely naked, it was time to expose it to one of my new toys. Introducing my new 3D scanner. This is the Einscan 3D scanner, which I bought back in March 2023 and finally got around to using it 7 months later because I'm good at buying things, which will sit for months before I can use it. And I'm sure many of you guys can relate. Now there is a learning curve with using this 3D scanner, and it's not as easy as it looks. For the long, wide, and smooth surfaces, I did need to use these stickers. These are 3D scanning dot markers so that the scanner doesn't lose its place, which happened quite often. The other thing to consider, if you are planning on purchasing this 3D scanner, which I'll link in the description down below, is that you do need a pretty powerful PC in order to run the software and the hardware. Anyways, I did get a really nice scan of the naked rear end of the truck, as well as a more detailed scan of the rear of those leaf springs with and without the spring hangers. That way, I can design my custom bed project, design my custom shackle flip idea, and also fantasize about my truck at night without anybody looking. I supported the frame and the rear axle with some jack stands and took off the struts and the lower cradle for my airbags. The shackle removal part is the easy part. 2 sets of nuts and bolts, and that shackle was quickly taken apart. The leaf springs are completely free from the rear hangers on the frame. I did that on both sides. The axle is supported by those 2 lower jack stands now. And this basically should allow us to remove this rear spring hanger completely. And these look like it's just 4 rivets. So we'll just use an angle grinder to cut those things off. Don't let the "this is just 4 rivets" fool you. This job is gonna suck, and you're not gonna have fun. Trust me, it sucked. I did not have fun. It was a lot of cutting, grinding, and pounding in order to completely hammer off that spring hanger. And removing those rivets completely from the frame, that took a lot more drilling grinding and pounding. Prepare to have some very sore wrists, guys. But what I did find most effective was taking my angle grinder, cutting the heads of those rivets, then using a pin punch basically to start a small pilot hole down the middle of that rivet, and then drilling it out with a 1/2-inch drill bit to remove those rivets completely. And mind you, you do have to drill them at low speeds, high pressure, with a lot of lubricant so that the tips of those drill bits don't go dull on you. Now, drilling out those 8 rivets took a few hours to do, and boy, that was not fun. If I had to do it again, I'd probably try it out with my plasma cutter and just carefully remove the material in the middle, and then probably finish it up with that 1/2-inch drill bit to clean up the edges. Now, why a shackle flip? Before I answer that, let's break down the Tacoma's rear suspension first. The rear suspension on the Tacoma is essentially a spring and damper system, with the spring being the leaf spring, duh, and the strut being the damper. A leaf spring is basically mounted on one side to the frame and the other side on a pivot arm. And that pivot arm is called a shackle. That shackle can be oriented so that it's under the leaf springs, and that's called a tension shackle, or on top of the leaf springs, and that's called the compression shackle. The stock design on the Tacoma's rear suspension is currently a tension shackle. The tension shackle is definitely stronger since the metal itself is in tension. There's no chances of that metal buckling under load. And there's also a lower roll center for the truck when you have a tension shackle, meaning it's more stable at high speeds and turning. Now, there are also disadvantages to this design. One is that the ride is a little bit stiffer, and 2 is that the droop of that rear suspension is also very limited because the shackle moves in a different direction of the axle when it's coming down. We'll go more into that because there are exceptions to that as well. Now, with a compression shackle, you do get a taller ride height for the rear without the need of a lift. And that's an advantage when it comes to off-road driving. This design also allows that rear suspension to droop down even further. And you also get a little bit of a softer ride. Now, it also does have some disadvantages. It has a higher roll center, and the up travel is much more limited. And I can certainly go on and on about the compression versus tension shackle. And as usual, there's always exceptions, including if you have a high arch leaf springs at the rear, you can actually get more travel with a tension shackle versus a compression. So there's little nuances like that. My goal with this project is to increase the suspension travel on the rear using bolt-on methods, so that it can also be available to most of you guys who already have a similar setup that I have. But how do we also increase the up travel? And that's fairly straightforward. We just reduce the spring rate, and we do that by reducing the number of leaves in the leaf pack. But that's to a certain extent. So let's take a look at what a leaf pack is. A leaf pack is a set of bowed spring steel. The more it is flexed with the load, the more each of the lower leaves engage with the leaf above it. So as the leaf pack gets more compressed, the stiffness gets higher and higher as more of the leaves engage with the truck's weight. If we reduce that leaf pack too much, then that leaf pack flattens out and starts bowing in the wrong direction. And that's when we get the Carolina squat. That's not a good look. Also, that suspension is probably bottomed out and you won't have any more up travel. Now, the goal is to have that leaf pack still bowed in the right direction while the truck is fully loaded. Now, how will this all work out with my setup? Because I do have that 1,000-pound four-wheel camper, and sometimes I do roll without all that weight in the back in order to still go and do some four-wheeling at tougher terrain. We'll get into solving that and more in the rear suspension series. Now let's talk about the design constraints when it comes to designing this rear shackle flip. Now, I do want to put longer shackles at that rear spring. So in order to do that, I'll have to move that pivot point further forward on the frame. Now, I can't put it too far forward or have the shackle too long because that rear of the leaf spring will just slam right into the frame. The frame actually tapers towards the rear and it's not parallel. So we'll have to take that angle into consideration when designing this rear spring hanger. Last but not least, we're also going to be using some of the existing mounting holes. Easy enough, right? Now, in order for me to figure out the maximum allowable length for that rear shackle, I did have to get that rear suspension to droop as far down as possible. The 3D scans that we did earlier helped me determine the proper angle for that rear shackle hanger. Now, using my CAD software, along with some cardboard, I was able to at least mock up and design some rough prototypes in order to figure out the manufacturing, the fitment, and the overall movement of the suspension as we cycle it up and down. Now, it took about 11 designs, 2 failed prototypes in order to get to this final working model. That final design we'll install in the next video, so definitely stay tuned. This format is definitely different from my usual format, so let me know what you guys think and if you do want to see more videos similar to this one in the future. As the mechanical engineer in this space, it is my goal to share and teach you guys my passion of designing, engineering, and building. So hopefully you guys do learn a thing or two with watching these videos. So that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button if you haven't yet. And until next time, peace out, everybody.